Hello everyone and welcome back to Movies TV Mad. I am Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends, wives and especially your boyfriends and your husbands a very warm welcome to Sunday's edition of the DCU Daily. You can also follow me on X Twitter at Movies TV Mad and on Instagram and on Threads at Movies TV Mad, X on TikTok, Mad Mickey's World, and on Snapchat, BMouth60. What happens on Snapchat stays on Snapchat. Ladies, I have a lot of discretion. Your boyfriends and husbands will never find out. But I want to ask a question. I know predominantly my viewership here on YouTube is male. What I want to hear from you is if you're a female, because I don't think I have any female viewers. So it would surprise me if any of you are subbed here to my channel that happen to be female, or if I get any female viewers on my YouTube. So please at me, at X, at Movies TV Mad, or anywhere else that you follow me, right? And let me know if you're a female viewer. Because I think our community could do with that female lens. I want to interact with male and female nerds. I think that's very, very important that we're diverse, and we have an openness to let anyone get involved with our platform. Now on with today's DCU Daily. The amount of attempts WB have attempted to reset DC film and television to move away from the apparent problematic Snyderverse. We had Berg and Johns, Jeff Johns, right? They did the whole Justice League debacle, didn't work. Then we had the Hamadaverse that tried to create this multiverse plan, which also didn't work and was thwarted. And then James Gunn has come in. Throughout this time, all the haters have spent more time talking about Zack Snyder and his superior movies than the actual stuff, the new stuff that they claim to love. Now, this is a very, very interesting paradigm, if you like, because during this release of this Superman movie, this terrible Superman movie that comes nowhere near in quality or in box office to Man of Steel, Superman 78, Superman 2, Superman 3, even Superman 4, yes, Superman and Lois, Smallville, my beloved Smallville, Superboy, Bruce Timm's animated works of greatness, right? Now, someone that I follow who follows me on X Twitter dared to say that Bruce Timm's Batman was bad, right? And I think he was talking about the latest thing that they did with Abrams and Reeves. I kind of agree on that. But let's be clear, he was trying to say that Snyder did a better Batman than Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm was the one who developed with a bunch of other people Batman the Animated Series. You can never slaughter Bruce Timm. But anyway, throughout this time where we've been told Snyder sucks and everybody else is so superior, we've seen all these flops, right? But what's so dumb about WB moving away from the Snyderverse is this. Zack Snyder has always trended. While all these, mid, crappy projects that have moved away from Zack Snyder had no trends, no one talking about them, even people just talk about Snyder all the time. Who was talking about James Gunn's Superman apart from Snyderverse fans and stans, crapping all over it? They're the only ones that gave it a trend. So the haters who hate on Zack make him trend even further. If it was announced right now that the Snyderverse was being restored, you'd have 50% of lovers and 50% of haters making it trend on social media. And let me be clear about this. Studios and media companies don't care what people think. As long as they're talking about it, it's a win. And more people this summer have spoken about the Snyderverse, whether it's positive or negative, that actually have been talking about the DCU. Peacemaker 2's viewership isn't great. The digital Superman release is going down the charts as well. But some box office gurus claim that Superman has a lot of strength still after all this time. I am stunned and shocked to my core that this movie has made over 600 million globally. I don't understand why. Well, actually, I do. And I'll very, very quickly explain to you why this film has made this money. If it has, because in the back of my mind, I think there's something kind of dodgy going on with the box office, but never mind. The reason I think people came in to see this movie, especially domestically, was the first teaser. Now, don't forget the marketing guru that WB stupidly, because it is the dumbest studio in Hollywood, no matter who runs it. It used to be a well-run studio, but I'm talking back in the days of Lord of the Rings, right, and the Harry Potter franchise. Not anymore. It's been run by the dumbest fucking people in American entertainment for such a long time. And there's a lot of people, dumb people, running entertainment today. But I think what got this up to over 600 million globally was the original teaser. The original teaser was very smart because this guru, this marketing guru that they lost to Apple TV was very clever. He did one smart thing. He cut all the shit that none of us liked from this movie and just put in, I suppose, the goodness. Not that there's much goodness in this movie. He created a feeling of darkness. There was a lot of darkness in that teaser. It made it feel like Gunn was going down the Snyder vibe, which is shocking if you think about it, because why did they do that? They were trying to move away from the Snyderverse because they know people would talk about it online. That first teaser is the only reason that this movie, surprisingly, miraculously crept up to over 600 million. But the reality is, when it comes to DC, the only thing people seem to want to talk about, positively or negatively, is Zack Snyder. That's the number one reason why, in my opinion, he should be the co-CEO of DC Studios, not with Peter Safran. Of course, Gunn and Safran should be deposed and fired as soon as they have a conversation with WB's security section, because, oh my God, what an utter mess. Cancelling what they originally announced, and now we're going down this super saga. As I've asked before, whatever happened to fucking Gods and Monsters? Because it's gone. Kapoof, right? Now, Gunn also claims that he hasn't deleted the Snyderverse. He's booted it out of his universe, as he should, by the way. Why would he have somebody else's, Justice League? Because the reason Gunn's here is because they're scared of the Snyderverse. They think it's problematic, that people don't like it, right? But the reality is, and especially if you're someone who hates Snyder, you're always talking about him. And the more you talk about him, the more you make him trend. Haters are so fucking dumb. The dumbest people ever. The more you talk about Snyder, the more he trends, and WB are thinking, fucking hell. They're talking about Snyder's movies and Snyder more than they're talking about what James Gunn has done. They're talking more about Snyder than they are about James Gunn. That's not a good thing. And the only positive stuff that really comes on the internet about Gunn and his DCU and his crappy, shitty Superman movie is from bots, bot accounts that they're paying to do this. They pay companies to speak positively about their shit. They're not real people. Just remember, all those DC accounts popped up as Gunn started to make his movie. Don't you find that just slightly suspicious? Because I certainly fucking do. But anyway, they're talking about Snyder. Snyder and his films live rent-free in their minds. He's the man. He's the man who should be running DC. We need him back. I loved his movies, right? I'm not a part of some religious cult who's got pictures of Snyder, on a cross or anything like that. I'm a lunatic, but I'm not that big a lunatic. I love the arts. I love movies, TV, plays, books, comics. I love them all, right? We don't get very good of anything like this anymore. I barely watch new shit, as I keep on telling you every single day. But Snyder's an artist. I don't care if you don't like him. I don't care if you're shouting at me right now. Snyder is a much better director than James Gunn. It's not even a debate. And how they haven't even restored the Snyderverse yet, considering his Superman movie made more money, his Batman and Superman movie made more money than Gunn's Superman, his Snyder Cut, certainly digitally, if you look at the digital release for Snyder's Justice League, it was doing a lot better, because I couldn't even get a physical home copy of Zack Snyder's Justice League on 4K for months. It was so popular. Now, you can say, well, Gunn's movie was in cinemas and Snyder's wasn't, so maybe there'd be more of a call to see it, but it was still available on Max, which isn't available, admittedly, to a great amount of people. Look, the numbers are there to say that Snyder can make WB a lot of money. As one former WB CEO said, Snyder made them a lot of money, right? Simple as that. When it comes to those three DC movies that Snyder made, he made them money. His influence on Aquaman made them money. His influence on the first Wonder Woman movie made them money, and near on $800 million box office. And Snyder was the co-director. Let me repeat that. Patty Jenkins Patty Jenkins wasn't the genius behind Wonder Woman. She was there because she was female, and they wanted people to see, when it said directed by, that it was a woman, right? Because Hollywood have got this crazy vibe. They think only women should direct women. If you're a girl watching this, get in the comments, at me on X Twitter, at Movies TV Mad. Let me know what you think of that. Do you think just women should be directing women? Do you think that's insane? That we're stereotyping women to be all the fucking same and only women get women? Not all women are the same, are they? And men have been writing women for fucking years a lot better than these Californian women. Just think about Sydney Bristow in Alias. Think about Jill Gascoigne in a very old cop show about a female cop. The Gentle Touch, right? And there's been so many brilliantly written female characters by men. You don't need to be a woman. I'm not saying women shouldn't write women. I'm saying the authoritative, crazy alt-left in Hollywood have got it wrong. And it's like anyone will do now creatively. And that's crap as well. So Zack Snyder co-directed that Wonder Woman movie. Zack Snyder gets comics, gets DC. I love the way he makes those movies. And I don't care if half of you hate him. The other half love him. And he brought in money. So, look, the Gunverse is fucked, right? The DCEU is a dead franchise walking. Make no mistake about that. They are done before they started. They're done already. He's presented his Superman movie. It was cut down to a mere 2 hours, and it was a much ado about nothing. We can debate the box office all day. And I'm not saying 600 million is totally crap, but they spent too much money on the thing, and they couldn't make a huge profit. It's finished. Even the 620 or 625 they're projecting isn't good enough, and nowhere near the 670 million or 668 million in a certain sense that Snyder's Man of Steel made. The competition is over. They had to at least beat Man of Steel, and they didn't do that, right? This was supposed to be a fresh, bright, comic book accurate take. Well, where's the comic book accuracy, right? Superman is a bleating beta. That's not Superman. The Hollywood Reporter re-released an article. They said that for the first time in years, Superman has a heart. No, he hasn't. He's got tears. He's angry because the man who wrote and directed him hates straight white males, hates A-grade superheroes, and tried to make him look like a fucking twat. It's not a good Superman movie. Superman doesn't have a heart just because he saved the squirrel and asks if everyone's all right. Cavill's Superman didn't ask if everybody was all right. He was too busy trying to make sure that everybody was all right. But Cavill's Superman is one man. Despite his superpowers, he can't be everywhere, and there was a realism. Some people in that verse died, and quite right too.